Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Municipality of Monroeville's Citizen Night and Council Work Session. If we'd all kindly rise for the Lord's Prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, before we actually get into the Citizens Night, Mr. Little's going to grab our sheet for those of you who signed in. And as we always do, I'll keep the floor open for anybody. Oh, nobody signed in? Okay. But before we get into Citizens Night, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Deputy Mayor Nick Griesok. He has a real nice presentation with one of our new Eagle Scouts. So, Nick, if you would.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. On the agenda down towards the bottom half of the sheet, we're going to just move that up here a little bit. And I'm going to actually ask Noah Brundrett to come on up so we can recognize him. I had the pleasure of meeting Noah and his brother Jake when I first got elected, and for one of their duties they met with they had to meet with an elected official, so I got to sit down and talk with him and his brother, and while we were chatting, talking about the next step as far as becoming an Eagle Scout, that I said if when it comes to that point to let me know, may I have some ideas, municipal ideas either through the rec department or otherwise for his project. So we threw some ideas out, and out of some of the ones that were less, he was some receptive to some, not so receptive to others, but he grabbed on to the Heritage Park Trail, and he really did a super job on this trail. If you aren't familiar with it, off of Saunders Station Road where Heritage Park is, some people know it as where the dog park is. There is a trail, an existing trail that loops around the property. It is about 3/4 of a mile, close to a mile, and Noah really changed this trail, cleaned it up, lined the entire trail with logs, him and his workers. I'm sure Noah has some people to thank. So essentially he lined about 1.5 miles worth of logs and dragged them through the woods to get this trail all cleaned up. And we have some photos here. And this is one of the main signs that were done by the Public Works sign department, Dom LaGorga and his sign crew. And this is the one entry point, if people are familiar, by the softball field. And Noah certainly had a lot of help. I'm going to turn it over to him in a second. Municipal-wise, a couple Public Works guys, Rick Atwood and John Mazak, they went through and cut down some of the larger trees that the Scouts couldn't handle. John Hizzy, Nick Castelli, Chris McMasters, they all had their hand in it as well. And Noah, we'll leave the floor for you if you wanted to thank anyone or talk about this project.
Oh, well, I had that classic list of people on the card of, thank you, I'm going to do all this, la, 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 la. All right. Well, actually, the first person I really want to thank is you, Dr. Griesok, for being my project instructor, sort of saying, this is more of your project. This is not mine. This is what you think you should do. But you have been one of the greatest helps of this. The other person I really want to thank is Mr. Paul Estock, who was more the advisor and mentor for me through this entire project. He was one that sort of helped me get the signs and got this great idea of using the metal ones instead of the wood ones. I actually have some of the following troop leaders. Mr. Dave English, my scoutmaster, has been there to help me a lot of the way there. Mr. Bob Davis, who is, I believe, here tonight, has committee chair, who also helped me with this. There's actually two families I want to thank for this. Mr. Carl Trexler and his son Andrew, who were a major help coming and cutting up the dead trees that were on the ground and helping tow them all over the place through the woods. Lovely pictures. Also the Turnip family, Without them and their dramatically strong boys, I don't think I would have gotten very far where I was. My grandparents couldn't make it here tonight due to that they live all the way up in Michigan, but there was no fundraising done for this project. That was the great part. The only big bill that I had for this was the food part of it, because apparently if I didn't have food, no one would come.
Free food brings them out.
Yes, I think on my entire project I spent more, there was more spent on food than it was actually spent on the project itself. Quite a bit, the bill was high. Bocelli's Pizza was the major help in this. They got major business off of me. There's actually two really major important people that I need to thank. My brother and especially my mother. Without my brother being that other major strong horse in this, I would have gone even slower, and my mother especially. Without her, I don't think I would be standing before the council today. And one of the actually hardest part of my project was keeping my mother in track. That was the hardest part of my entire project. She has always been there, being the leader, and I understand why. When the main group was working on pushing forward through the trail, lining it, she would always stay back, and I'm like, Mom, I need you to be up here with me. I need to keep an eye on you. It's like, no, because if I'm up there, you won't be in charge. I'll try and take over, which I understand that. But there's actually a section of the trail that is actually, I call the Mother's Day section. It's right by the softball field. It's called the Mother's Day part because on Mother's Day, I asked my mom, so what would you like to do, or what would you like for Mother's Day? And she said, I like to go work on your trail. And I was like, okay, we worked on my trail, we got that entire section done, and it turned out to be one of my favorite parts because it's got that nice look straight in. I think my most favorite part of the entire project was doing the little memorial garden in the front. I feel like that was my favorite part because it just has a natural outlook straight into the trail. And what I didn't mention to Mr. Grieshock was this was actually combined with my how do I put it? My graduation paper at the high school. I took my English class. Instead of doing a paper, my teacher decided to have us do a project. I went to my teacher and told him, could I maybe combine this with my EAGLE project? And it was approved immediately. So the main part of it was doing the actual memorial garden as the main part of my project from school. So this was actually part of my grade. Now, the sad part was my paper for my English teacher wasn't the greatest. I was taken down on there, but I at least passed because the project was above and beyond what she has seen in many, many years. But that's all I really have to say. I just want to thank Mr. Grieshock and Mr. Essock, and especially my mother and brother for everything they've done for me. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
let's give them a nice
Thank you.
Nick, have him come around so we can shake his hand.
Say that again, Tom?
Just have him stop around so we can shake his hand and thank him.
And also, too, there wasn't, like Noah mentioned, I mean, there wasn't much money spent on this trail, but there was a tremendous amount of labor that him and his guys did. And I definitely want to, on behalf of Mr. Estock, he was unable to be here, and he really wishes that he could have been here. He was just wanted to, Noah, let you know how proud he is of you and how great of a job you did, and really you just did a super job on the trail. I really encourage everyone out there to take a walk. I mean, it's a beautiful time of year to do that. Now leaves are changing and everything. Definitely all members of council to please get down there and check it out. But once again, great job, Noah. You have a lot to be proud of, and thank you for providing such a nice service for our community. So great job again. If everybody could give him a round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I open it up for the Citizens Night, I certainly know why some of us are sitting here, but I think we're going to have our solicitor address the issue, and I hope you would understand you'll certainly have a right to come up and address council on any issue that you would like to address with us. But Mr. Dice, I will turn it over to you.
And that's on the which project, the temple, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, the comments are directed to old business under the temple requirement, requests, and I think there's 3 of them? 5. 5 of them, sorry. With regard to these 5 requests, we have scheduled on Tuesday a conditional use hearing. And so you're aware, under the law, or under the municipality's planning code, a conditional use is different than a subdivision or site plan or other types of proceedings before council. It's more quasi-judicial in nature. It's a quasi-judicial forum. There'll be court reporters. There's an offering of testimony, so to speak. It's not necessarily formal like a courtroom, but there is the offering of testimony by the staff, the applicant, and then, of course, any resident that feels like they would want to offer testimony for or against will be given an opportunity to do that as well. Therefore, I think comments tonight would really be not appropriate, because, again, this body is sitting as I'll call it, a disinterested or unprejudiced body at this point. And I think any comments that we might take would really be out of place, since there's this opportunity on Tuesday for a public hearing and a forum on that whole subject. So I caution you on that and tell you that I would suggest to you to, if you have comments, the appropriate time to bring them up is Tuesday at the proceeding, because that's what the proceeding is set for. Anybody have any questions about that? Seeing none. Greg?
Okay, we'll open up there was nobody signed in, but if anybody would like to address council, this is certainly your time to address any issue before council. It is certainly your right. And I sincerely mean any issue. It is certainly, you have a right to come up and speak to us. You're kidding.
That was good.
I'll save the date for you.
Please sign in.
It's on the side.
Somebody moved it on the wrong side. My name's Len Young, resident of Monroeville, many, many years. And I will say those trails in Heritage Park that gentleman fixed up, I guess the statute of limitations has run out, because back in the early 70s, we used to ride our dirt bikes back there a lot.
Don't tell anybody.
And had a lot of fun. It was a blast back there. It was real nice. 90 acres and all the way down to McGinley Road and everything. Okay, so here it is, fall, and it's budget time again. So just a little curious if the council's been taking up any sort of budget items yet that maybe we can avoid another tax increase this year after last year's, 64% increase?
Well, let me put it this way to you. The budget hasn't been presented yet to council. I still think I'll turn it over to Mr. Little, but that should be public
Just
hearings will be
concerned,
coming up.
because,
You know, the budget will be presented on Tuesday evening.
yeah. So we've been looking at the different budget items and maybe finding ways to save a little money here and there.
Always.
Well,
It
didn't
hasn't
save
been
too much
per-
last year, raising the taxes 60-some percent. What was the number? Was it 64, 65%?
Well-
Anybody know here? Budget
What was your
people?
question? I'm sorry.
What
On
was the
budget,
amount of
yeah,
increase in the
but
budget?
again,
The taxes for last year, increased our property
If you
taxes.
amortize it since '92, since the last tax increase, yeah, if you look at it, well, how many years is that?
20-some years.
Yeah, it's 22 years.
We've
If you
raised
look at
that.
the other side
So
of the
divide
equation.
22 into your 64, and what do
It
you?
was a 1.5
Yeah.
something mil increase.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you look at the
yeah, Len,
values of
Len,
properties kept
you know,
going
you
up.
should be addressing your comments
Yes.
to me, but we haven't really been, the budget hasn't been really presented
Mm-hmm.
officially to us. Certainly, I know that council, as well as myself, are going to have a lot of comments on it. I'm sure of that you'll certainly have your comments as a resident, as well as anybody sitting here, and the listening audience can do that as well. So
Okay.
there's plenty of time to work on the budget, if you will, but I'm sure Mr. Lawley and Mr. Little are doing their due diligence, and I'm sure we'll still have our comments, I'm sure.
Yeah, I
And
just
you
want
will
to try to
too.
avoid the annual, December should be a very joyful time, but last year especially became very contentious with the tax increase.
I understand that.
Yeah, so,
Believe me, that was
Concerned about
painful
that.
for everybody, including everybody up here. So,
okay,
thank you for your comments, sir.
you're welcome.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave the floor open for anybody that would like to address council. This is certainly your time to do so. All right, would you please sign in and state your name for the record?
My name is Bob Davis. I'm with the Point Circle Association. I want to read a letter that we received and make council aware of what's going on. The letter is addressed to the Municipal Council of the Municipality of Monroeville, Monroeville, PA. It's regarding the acre review request for the Municipality of Monroeville in Allegheny County. Dear Municipal Council, as you know, the Office of Attorney General received a request from the Point Circle Association to review the Municipality of Monroeville's Timber Harvest Ordinance number 2529, pursuant to Section 314 of Act 38 of 2005, which is the acre law. It appears from our review that provisions of that ordinance unlawfully prohibit or limit normal agricultural operations in violation of Act 38. We are prepared to bring legal action against the municipality pursuant to Section 315 of Act 38 to invalidate or enjoin the enforcement of the ordinance provisions. Before doing so, however, we write to offer the municipality an opportunity to provide relevant information or materials or to meet with us to discuss the matter. Please contact Senior Deputy Attorney General Susan Bucknam to discuss the Municipality of Monroeville's position. And it's signed by the Executive Deputy Attorney General. We came before Council a couple years ago with a reasonable request to do some timbering. We would like to know what action will be taken by the municipality, the council, the engineers, and when, based on the options the Attorney General provided in this letter that you've had for almost 2 weeks. We hope that the municipality, their council, and the engineers will not burden the taxpayers with another litigation, attorney fees, or other professional fees for something that was reasonably done. So with that, any response? Greg?
We'll respond at the end of the Citizens Night. Yes, we will. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll keep the floor open for anybody who would like to address council. This is certainly your time to address us. Seeing none, we will close that proportion of our meeting. And Mr. Dice, you did want to have a comment.
Well, I think it's appropriate to respond to the Attorney General's letter. So you're aware, our office has responded already. On October 6, 2014, we sent off a letter to the author of that letter, and it makes reference to the review requests. And I'm going to read portions of our response to them. Please be advised that our office represents Monroeville and thereafter will be representing Monroeville regarding this matter. We're in receipt of your letter dated September 24th in which you allege that provisions of ordinance number 2529 unlawfully prohibit or limit normal agricultural operation in violation of Act 38, to which the municipality adamantly disagrees. Moreover, in this review of this letter, there is no explanation of the alleged violations or any findings of the Attorney General's inquiry. Consequently, we respectfully request a more detailed analysis of the alleged violations so we may adequately respond. Without getting into the substance of any of the underlying issues raised in your letter, we believe there are procedural errors that preclude the Attorney General's office from pursuing this first review of Act 38 by your own publication in the AG's office on whether or not an action can be brought. You must bring your challenge within 120 days from the receipt of the request. Enclosed, and we give them a copy of the publication where their own publication that says they only have 120 days. It's our understanding that Point Circle filed a request with the AG's office on or about September 19th, 2013. As per the enclosed letter from your office dated September 26th, 2013. That's their letter to us. A copy of that letter is also attached. Presently, it's been more than 1 year since the AG office decided to pursue this, which is a clear violation of the statute. Consequently, it's the municipality's position, given the exhibits, that AG's office failure to provide notice that it intended to bring an action within 120 days precludes the AG's office from now bringing any action. This is further supported by the statute, and I go on to cite the statute. It goes on for a page and a half. In the instant matter, Point Circle Association is a nonprofit, non-stock association, an owner of a common open space of 29.4 acres. Point Circle Association is not an owner or farmer that is in business of carrying out normal agricultural operations. It is a homeowners association essentially monitoring covenants and conditions and restrictions that run with the land. Point Circle's normal operations do not include the production or preparation of market, poultry, livestock, harvesting, or preparation of any agricultural or horticultural activities. Act 38 is essentially a mechanism for farmers, not homeowners associations, to seek administrative review. Thirdly, we also provide a copy of the order of court and opinion by the court that found this ordinance to be lawful and legal. And I don't know whether they ever saw that. No one ever took an appeal from that order, so that order stands as affirmed now, and it's absolute. So for those three reasons, we have gone back to them and indicated that we don't believe they have a case.
All righty, and council, we'll move over to the work session agenda, and I do know that you will have the Citizens Night meeting of September 4th, 2014 in your packet tomorrow, so we can review that on Tuesday. The other two will be as soon as Sharon can get to those. So we'll move over to our reports of our I'm sorry. Oh, I missed that. Council also conducted an executive session for personnel and litigation on Tuesday, October 7th, 2014, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Council's legislative action, if any, shall be taken at the October 14th, 2014 council meeting. Thank you for that, Mr. Little. On approval of on our reports of our tax collection, are there any additions or corrections, council? Seeing none, we'll move over to our payroll report. Once again, any additions or corrections? We'll go over our list of bills and budget transfers. Tom, we'll start off with you. Anything for this evening?
Yes, I have a couple things tonight. First of all, congratulations to Eagle Scott.
No. I'm talking about on the list of bills and budget transfers.
No, nothing.
Okay.
Taking a nap.
That's okay. Steve?
I have nothing.
I don't even know what to say. Paul?
I don't have anything, sir. I had a couple, but I got them answered. Thank you.
Okay. Paul, how about you? Sir.
No, I'm good, sir.
I
Thank
didn't
you.
hear it. Jim, you said you were good. Ron?
I'm good.
Nick?
No questions, Mayor.
And Linda?
I've got all mine answered, thank you.
And as well as I did. Okay, we'll move over to bids and proposals. Mr. Little, if you would, please.
Yes, we have the old Ramsey Road repair project. We received 3 bids, and there is a sheet in your packet on the 3 bids that we received. And we received a bid from Mealy and Mealy and Sons of Braddock, PA, and J&G Contracting Company from Carnegie, and GSI Geostabilization International. And asking council for a motion on Tuesday to award the bid. And that's it right now, unless there's any other questions on that bid.
I have a question. Mr. Hugus, do you have either of any of these firms done work in the municipality before?
Not in the, excuse me, not in the municipality, but the contractor that we're proposing to award a bid to has had interaction with our geotechnical engineer with successful.
Well, who are you recommending, Paul?
JG Contracting.
And for those of you looking at the sheet on that, you'll see that is not the lowest bidder, but you please remember that we want to get the lowest responsible bidder, and if our staff feels that that would be the J&G, I would recommend Consol. And for you, all the listening audience, to understand, we want to spend your money wisely. Any other comments from you, Nick? I'm
I
sorry.
guess the only other comment I have, we originally thought this would be around a $500,000 project, and you're looking at 418,000, so we're under budget.
Yeah, and just put, because the public does not have this portion in.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
they just-
thought-
And I'll just read these into the record. Melee come in at $403,851. J&G come in $417,600. And Geostabilization International come in at $497,728.98. So we're looking to, on Tuesday, to award this to J&G for $417,600.
Paul, were
Is it
these all
fair to-
compared, like apples to apples, these bids?
I'm sorry, say it
The
again.
bids, were they compared like apples to apples?
Yes.
So that everybody,
Yes.
okay,
There were certain criteria everybody had to meet.
okay.
Well, it also
Thank you.
appears the lowest bidder didn't fill all the obligations of the
That's
bid.
correct. That's exactly right.
Any other questions on this item before you, Council?
Mayor, just a comment, actually, Paul touched on this briefly as far as these bids are definitely lower than what we first anticipated, and this procedure, which is the engineering department came up with, as far as the soil nailing, is much cheaper than the original plan of
Well,
doing
that's the difference, though. J&G had proposed using a modified soldier beam and lagging wall, which is a better product in the end anyway. So we're going to end up with a better product.
Okay, because our initial was like
Cheaper than what we originally
800,000 and
Correct.
up, so.
We're not doing soil nailing anymore?
No, but it's going to be a modified soldier beam and lagging wall.
Oh,
is even
okay.
better.
Which is
which
even
is
better.
Yes, it's a better product. That's
Perfect.
correct.
And Paul, you may have stated, but when do they anticipate to start?
It's a wintertime activity. I mean, I would think if you award in October, you could get started in sometime November and be done by February, March.
Oh, good.
Phenomenal.
Thank you.
And I'm sure everybody on Old Ramsey that use that will be quite happy, so.
Me.
Any other questions, Council? All right, we'll move over to old business, and I'll turn it again once over to you, Mr. Little, if you would, please.
Okay, under old business, we have the Sri Shriti Sabababa, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I apologize if I'm not, temple. And the first item is the applicant request for conditional use approval, and I will just paraphrase from these, to permit cut and fill operation of approximately 24,800 cubic yards of earth. That's the first item, and the Planning Commission recommended approval with conditions. Second item is applicant's request for conditional use approval as amended, approving a conditional use at a place of steep slope or grade. And the Planning Commission recommended approval with conditions on that also. The third item, the applicant requested withdrawal of that application of a conditional use. Number 4 is an application requesting site plan approval to construct 13,410 square foot, two-story temple, 1,466 square foot addition, 264 square foot connecting wing, and 4 gazebos totaling 15,140 square feet of building area and related site amenities. The property is located at 1449 Abers Creek Road in the S Conservancy and R2 Single Family Residential Zoning District. Planning Commission recommended that with approval with conditions. Number 4 is the applicant is requesting subdivision approval to consolidate and revise lot lines of 4 original parcels to create 1 new parcel consisting of 36.646 acres. And that right there is it for the old business.
Questions or comments, and I think Mr. Dice has once again reiterated to council that we should hold our thoughts until the Tuesday, am I not correct?
Correct.
Mr. Dice?
Correct.
Until we have the public hearing. And again, I hope all you folks understand that we do have to hold comment, because we have to sit, as he said, as a quasi judicial body over that, if you will. So, moving right along, Mr. Little, again, we'll go to new business.
New business is number 1 is BPH Associates LP, Applicants requesting a subdivision approval to subdivide parcel 1243-A-76, consisting of .516 acres to create parcel A, consisting of .066 acres, and to dedicate 2 rights-of-ways consisting of .18 acres and .05 acres for Rickenbacker Drive and Aper Creeks Road respectively. This would be the proposed Family Dollar store on Golden Mile Highway, Route 286. And where I picked up, new parcel consisting of .066 acres will be consolidated with parcel 1 consisting of 5.997 acres, totaling 6.063 acres. The remaining portion of the parcel, 1243-A76, consisting of 0.20 acres, will be consolidated with parcel 1243A17, consisting of .818 acres, totaling 1.022 acres. And I'll leave it there on that. If there's any questions on that from council or the public.
Well, I'll hold off. If you folks, if anybody would like, that was here, that wanted to address the temple issues, if you want to stay, you're certainly welcome. If you'd like to leave, we'll give you some time to exit. It is certainly your call. Okay, good. I hope they all stay then. Good.
Well, they're going to run.
It's good to have
Let's
residents
get out of here
here.
while we got the
We'll
chance.
wait for them to.
We'll wait for them to go.
Greg, you're on a roll.
Gotta do what we gotta do, right? Well, I was hoping some of them stayed.
Yeah.
Okay, Council, again, as on the first new business, are there any questions or comments? And I know this is a lot to absorb at the moment, but are there any at this point?
If we get an explanation, Mr. Shufo, if maybe you
Yeah,
could.
I was just going to say that.
Mark,
Can
you
you
want
tell
to,
me where this is? 'Cause I'm lost, Mark,
This is,
where this is.
this is on 286,
CBH.
right across from, I'm sorry.
number one.
This one.
This is on Route 286 across from the Westinghouse. There's a vacant part next to McDade's.
Okay,
Before we move on, there's 4 additional applications on the agenda for new business. There's 5 additional conditional uses along with the temples that are involved with these applications.
So we're not going to take any testimony on those either.
Thank you very much. I wanted to get a clarification. from
Okay,
Mr.
very good. Well, that's
okay.
why we're here.
You're talking to him, huh?
So what do we just?
Well, okay, is there any more discussion on BPH? That's 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Seeing none. Number 4. Is that a conditional use? Cochran? Okay, speak to Cochran then.
Then, Tim, if you'll read that into the record.
Right, number 4 is Cochran Automotive. An applicant is requesting site plan approval to construct 15,622 square foot Subaru service building and associated site amenities. The property is located at 4520 William Penn Highway in the C2 Business Commercial Zoning District. Planning Commission recommended approval with conditions.
Questions or comments on this item?
Just where exactly is that located?
Yeah.
It's a brand-new building. It's in the existing parking lot
That's
there now.
It's in their existing,
It's in their complex at the Mega Center. Yes, that's correct.
It's in a parking lot closest to East Exit Hotel. That's probably the best way to
Oh,
answer your question.
okay.
Okay, Mr. Little, if you would.
Okay, 5 and 6, are they being withdrawn?
Yes.
Okay, so council can act on that Tuesday. Then let's go to 7.
If you will, Mr. Little.
Okay, item number 7 is RET LLC Meadows Original Frozen Custard. Applicant is requesting site plan approval to renovate an existing 1,110 square foot building for a drive-through restaurant and associated site amenities.
Amenities.
Amenities. The property, I'm getting tongue twisted. The property is located at 4329 Northern Pike in the C2 Business Commercial Zoning District. The Planning Commission recommended approval with conditions.
Maybe you want to read number 8 since it's on the same
Correct.
as well.
The applicant is requesting a conditional use approval to renovate an existing 1,100 square foot building for a drive-through restaurant and associated site amenities.
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 All right.
Come on, you use all
And,
those big fancy words every other day.
Okay, council,
just
on number
curious,
7 and 8.
Where is it?
This is the old
The old Charade Lounge?
The old
That's what I
Charade
thought
Lounge,
it was.
yeah, Unique Pizza Factory.
That's what I thought. Yes, okay.
Across from
Questions or
Dad's.
comments on 7 or 8, council?
Across from Dad's
Yes.
restaurant.
Oh, Dad's
Correct.
Dogs, okay. I know where that is.
Seeing none, we'll go over to, again, Tim, we're going to put you on. You have some motions that you need to get
Yeah,
out.
we have 6 motions on the agenda. The first motion is for Tuesday night, is a motion to appoint Campbell, Durant, Beatty, Palumbo, and Miller as arbitration counsel for police contract negotiations. Any questions on that? We have discussed this with counsel in executive session.
Next.
Okay, next one is a motion to place a quarter-page advertisement in the amount of $75 in the 2014-15 yearbook of the Gateway Hockey Club.
Questions or comments? Go ahead, Tom.
Question. I'd like the council to revisit the amount of the donation. I'd like to see us put a half page in at $100. I don't think the extra $25 will hurt us along the way. And I also sent an email out to all council members, ask them if they would be happy to donate $20 toward the putting another ad in, or just helping the hockey team, because hockey is very expensive in the high school area, and it's not supported by the WPIAL. It's a part of a club sport, and the school district does not participate in funding the program.
Okay, council, I'd like to hear some of your thoughts. I certainly don't have any issue raising that to $100. I don't think anybody else does either.
I'm getting it.
Would you like me to leave?
That's not for you, that's for the.
Oh, okay. I get so confused.
I'm not touching any of
Take my
that.
20 out of it.
Thank you, Mr. Dice.
Mr. Little, if you would.
Okay, a motion, also number 3, is a motion to approve the RBA Delinquent Tax Professional Data System Software in the amount of $30,125.
You might want to explain that a little bit, or Mr. Lawley, would that be you?
What RBA is the software that the tax office uses to reconcile their books. That is the standard upgrade cost to make it the most current version, as I understand it.
Questions or comments on this item, council?
How outdated is our version?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
I can't answer that.
How
I'm not sure.
outdated it
Is
is.
that old, huh?
Not speculating, I don't know.
Okay.
Mr. Little, if you would.
Okay, item number 4 is a motion to authorize to advertise an RFP for bank depositories.
And I think we've discussed this many times, council. Are there any other questions? Mr. Little, if you would.
Number 5 is a motion for the Civil Service Commission to begin the process of promotional testing of lieutenant and sergeant during the last quarter of 2014. That should say lieutenant and sergeant positions. There's an omission there.
Doug, you want to come on up for a minute on this item, just in case any questions?
No, he doesn't.
Well, too bad. He has to come up. No, all kidding aside, folks, as you all know, Doug's been talking. We just promoted our corporals, and it's certainly now appropriate to move up to that next level, and I don't want to steal any of your thunder there.
Doug, a lot of this is due to retirements, correct?
Retirements,
correct.
the highest rank besides me in the department is a sergeant. We're also the sergeants that are currently in those positions have been there 6 or 7 years now.
And we got a list of some of the possible candidates. Will all of those be promoted, or is
No,
that like
it
that'll be a
would,
testing?
obviously, all got to pass the test. They got to pass the written test and then the oral interview test, and then they could eligible to be promoted. If they all would be promoted, it depends on how we organize it and how many lieutenants we want to have. The cost of moving up a rank is roughly $2,000 a year per officer. That's the only extra expense.
Doug, is that gonna
help us eliminate some supervisor overtime?
Well, they're going to stay in the pool. That's a very good point, Ronnie. They're going to stay in the pool of the patrol division. So that will make it that they will be counting as supervisors for that.
That would certainly strengthen the police department.
Well, it's part of my reorganization plan for the whole department as we streamline down into just 2 divisions, criminal investigations and the patrol. This is just part of that, and that give more responsibilities to the lieutenants.
Very good.
Any other questions for Doug?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Chief, thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we have one more under motions here, Mr. Little, if you would.
Yes, I put this motion on the agenda under the Borough Code, even though we're a home rule charter municipality. Anytime an account is opened or closed, it should be approved by the elected body. And it's a motion to open obligate accounts for the capital improvement program and the vehicle lease escrow account. As we talked about for the 14 budget, we were going to be transferring $1 million into a capital improvement program. And that's what we have done. We've opened that up and transferred $1 million into that for 14, and we'll be doing that for 15 too. And the money coming out for Ramsey Road will be coming out of that. In the vehicle lease escrow account, we have received the money for the fire trucks. It was just transferred on Tuesday, a little over $1 million for the fire trucks, and we're going to save an additional approximately $4,000 in addition to the other savings we were going to get by ordering it early. We're going to also save an additional $4,000 by within the next month prepaying. But what they have to do is they have to put up a performance bond for us to do that. So that money has already been transferred. And that's what this motion is, to open up those accounts right there.
Questions or comments on this item before you? I think that's basically almost like a housekeeping announcement.
But it's good to put that into the minutes.
Into the record. Seeing none, we'll move over to resolutions, and Tim, you one more time.
Okay, a resolution authorizing the distribution of general municipal pension aid pursuant to the Municipal Pension Plan Act 205 of 1984, and if they have reviewed this resolution, you can see all this is a division of the money we receive from the state, plus also the money we have to put in from the general fund. We received this year $729,000 and some change from the state, but we owe to the pension plans approximately $2.3 million. So the balance of that, the difference, comes out of the general fund. And that's just an indication of how that money is going to be distributed. That has to be done before the end of this month. At least the state money has to be done before the end of the month. But our money really has to be done before the end of the year, but we do it all before October 31st.
Questions or comments on this item before you, council? Thank you, Mr. Little. Mr. Dice, if you would.
Yes. First ordinance is appointing a delinquent real estate tax collector.
Again, I think this is basically housekeeping, but any questions or comments on this? Mr. Dice.
Second ordinance is an ordinance accepting the dedication to public use a certain road known as Red Oak Court, together with the requisite storm sewers located within the street right-of-way as more fully set forth in a drawing and attached and made part of the ordinance.
And I think this has been discussed several times at council meetings. Any other further questions or comments?
No, I just think this is something that we need to get taken care of. This has been on again and off again prior to this council, up into this council, and we just hope that we can move forward and make this happen.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Dice. We'll move over to our reports of our municipal staff. And Bruce, any other comments?
No.
Mr. Little, you have a couple of items under your...
Okay, the first item, as we mentioned briefly at the Citizens Night, this Tuesday will be the introduction of the 2015 budget, and I'll spend about 10 minutes just reviewing the budget. And if there's any kind of broad questions at that time, I'll entertain those questions from council or the public. But as far as getting into any kind of real detail, we have 2 public hearings that we have to schedule under the Home Rule Charter, and those will be at the end of October and one in November, and I'll go into more detail on that on Tuesday night.
And Mr. Little, will the budget, once you present it, will be put on the website for the residents to review?
Sure. Yeah,
Make sure that happens, please.
Okay, the next item is Gateway School District Memorandum of Understanding. This is something that has been talked about. It's a very brief MOU that council received. an agreement between the school district with respect to the facilities that we use at the school district for our recreation program. We are not charged for those. All right, now, conversely, when we put salt onto the parking lots, which we do for the school district, we do not charge them for that. And I think it's a good deal for both entities, and I think this just memorializes that agreement. And if council has any questions, I'll entertain any of their questions, or even the public.
And if you haven't had a chance to really go over it, or maybe meet with Tim Council, I'd recommend you either meet with him in person or call him, but certainly open to any comments on that right now.
And we feel that would be equal because we have a
Easily.
list of their tonnage that we've given them.
Easily.
Over the years.
I mean, we could conservatively, with the recreational programs that we have up there, and I'm just ballparking this real broadly, we could be charged $25,000.
So that would help out with the budget towards
Oh, yeah, I
Parks
mean,
and
they don't charge
Recreation
us.
Department.
I mean, they don't charge us, so, and I could easily say we don't use $25,000 worth of salt.
But we do other things as well.
I can
Yeah,
agree.
right,
We-
and I think it's, public entities should help each other.
It's coming out of the taxpayers' pocket.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
it sounds good.
Any other questions or comments on this item before you? And I appreciate your work with Dr. Zetti on that. So, Mr. Little, if you would, your third item.
Yeah, the third item is a municipal gas report. Tina Mueller, our IT director, has put this together and has done a good job. Pardon me?
Is it in here?
I think it was in your packet. I don't think it may not be attached.
Okay,
It was in your packet.
Yeah, it was,
What that shows is that all the departments, plus the authority and the Conventions Visitors Bureau, how much gas they use each month. So you can get a gauge, Council, on, who's using a lot more gas. Not that, obviously the Public Works Department, the police, they use a lot of gas because they have a lot of vehicles. But it's just a report for you that we're going to start giving the council quarterly. And I asked Tina to put it in a little graph form because I'm a big believer, as all the staff knows, one picture is worth 1,000 words. And you can view it, and if you have any questions now or at any time, you can call me or anybody as far as the gas. And it goes by gallons, and it's also by cost.
I'd like
Questions
to
or
commend
comments?
Mr. Little on his chart. I know this is one of his pet projects, and the colors are beautiful.
Okay,
Morning, Tom.
wake up.
I don't even know what to say on that. Municipal engineer, Paul, any other words of wisdom?
Nothing.
Sean, any other words of wisdom from the financial officer's position?
Not words of wisdom, but in response to the one resident's comments earlier about taking care in the budget process, most certainly have. Mr. Little and I have worked for many, many weeks on it. I've had a lot of help from Tina Mueller with the IT portion of it, making things come together. My secretary, Jill, my staff, I just want to say thank you. And next Tuesday, I'm hoping that the public and the council will appreciate the work that was done.
Okay, thank you. And we'll move over to our reports of our council, and we'll start off with you, Linda, tonight.
Oh, okay.
We're all awake up here, can you tell?
Yeah. First, I'll say thanks to the Eagle Scouts that came and the presentation that was given. I also want to give an extra thanks to Dr. Griesbach and to Paul Estock for their help in helping that come to fruition. So I think it was wonderful, and it was very well presented. Then I would also like to thank Tina Mueller again for her wonderful way of putting these pictures and numbers on paper so it's much easier to comprehend. So thanks again, Tina. And for all the extra work Mr. Lally and the department and Mr. Little's put in to help us get this budget ready, so, for review. So I'll just thank you ahead of time. Well, I'm not angry that we're going through it. That's all I have.
We're really flying off here tonight. Nick, if you would, sir.
Okay, Mayor. From the Recreation and Parks Advisory Board, the Monroeville Park off of Tilbrook Road, some people refer to it as Old Monroeville Park, has a 9-hole disc golf course, which is Frisbee golf, and it's played similar to how golf is, however you utilize Frisbees. And it's been there for a few years now, and it's a 9-hole course that goes around the park itself. And we had recently, a couple weeks ago, FedEx, our local branch behind Corporate One, they did I believe they call it a Day of Caring, and they came out and really cleaned up the course, redid the signs. They spent a good, long, laborious day there and really cleaned up our course and did a nice job out there. Changed all the signs out. As you can see, they were pretty beat up. A lot of the tee boxes, if you would, for you golfers, they actually have them there. They're painted boards, and they actually have a couple different tee areas for each hole. They cleaned everything up, straightened everything up, and we really appreciate that kind of cooperation from the community. But the FedEx employees, I'm not sure how many they had, but they had a good group there from once again, our local Monroeville branch, which is in Corporate One on Monroeville Boulevard. So I would encourage anyone to get out there and give it a try. It's a lot of fun. If you go to a lot of different sporting goods stores, they sell these discs. That's me and my daughter, Allie. We weren't there working or playing Frisbee golf. I was there actually chasing her around the playground and actually realized it was the FedEx Day of Caring. So I was chatting with the people there. I didn't do any labor, though, other than chasing her, so I don't want to get any credit for that. But like I said, the disc golf, it's a lot of fun. So Monroeville Park, please check it out. And it's a great way to enjoy the outdoors. Once again, congratulations to Noah Brundrett for his job at Heritage Park. Like I said, encourage residents to get down there and take advantage of that trail. Really did a super job, and he deserves a lot of credit. We spoke in the past about possibly looking into modifying or changing or looking into changing the home rule charter. Mr. Harvey did some legwork there, and I'll let him talk about some of it briefly. Looks like Mount Lebanon is in the same kind of process to clean some areas up or look into some areas of their home rule charter. So we're looking closely at this, and we'll keep the residents up to date on potentially us looking into this matter. It's definitely a long process, but we're tiptoeing into it here. And then lastly, to our residents of the Jewish faith, a Lashana Tova to you, or a very happy New Year. So that's all I have this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Ron?
I guess the first thing before I forget, I want to congratulate my daughter Kim and her future husband Jason. They're getting married Saturday. I don't think I'm going to survive, but
Your pocketbook won't.
the treasurer of this committee is done. So congratulations to her future husband Jason and my daughter Kim.
I had to get that treasure.
I don't know if I'm going to make it. You guys might not see me back here Tuesday. But secondly, the Home Rule Charter Committee, I've received a great deal of documentation from the manager of Mount Lebanon, Mr. Stephen Feller. I want to thank him for all of that. It's incredible the amount of documentation that he and their committee has produced while they're going through the same thing that we're kind of talking about doing here and presenting their changes. I have forwarded this documentation to Dr. Griesach, and I want to thank Mr. Feller again for his cooperation and the time he spent with me on the phone. I did forget to ask him if Mount Lebanon was talking about a land bank program, but I didn't get that chance. But did you get the email and the information?
Yes, got it all.
Okay.
And they plan on having this on the ballot, Mr. Harvey?
Yeah, if things keep going the way they are, they've been working on this. Their committee has been working on this for a little over a year. They think they're going to be introducing the first step of changes this November. So, the Meadowdale plan on Logan's Ferry, Paul Hugus and I talked, and there are homes that have a large amount of water coming down the back hillside of the property in the one cul-de-sac. Mr. Hugus is aware of it. We haven't had a chance to check into it yet, but I want you to know that information has been passed on. Collingwood Drive, thanks to Mike Adams and the road department, all the ruts in your road have been taken care of. And once again, I got to thank Mike and the road department because I know they're just as busy as heck, but they did get that project done. As far as the Giant Eagle progress goes, they were delayed a little bit because they ran into a water line that now had to be replaced. And they did that, and I think they're back on the sewer line, and it's moving forward. I wanted to send my condolences to Pat Fulkerson. His mother passed away. And tell everybody to have a safe Halloween.
Thank you, sir. Jim?
Yeah, just a couple of quick things. Holidays is right around the corner for all those that showed up to support the spirit of Christmas and the kids. I want to thank them for their donations, as well as the many toys they brought, because it helps us tremendously on the Christmas Eve day. Northern Pike Hill, I understand there was a meeting yesterday with Angela from PennDOT and the contractor. Didn't get the results yet, but I understand they're getting ready to move forward. As soon as I find out, I will let everybody know. With that, I'm done.
Paul?
I don't have a lot to say tonight, Mr. Mayor. I did want to wish my wife a happy birthday. Today, actually 2 days ago was her birthday, but just wanted to embarrass her a little bit. And I don't have any senior center announcements. I really apologize, but they do have a lot going on out at the senior center. I would implore anybody to go out, take a look at all their programs. They're building, they're growing, and they're doing it all on their own. So please go out and check it out. It's a great service that they provide for all of us, too. With that, I'm finished.
Steve?
Oh, I'd like to, again, congrats to Noah on his Eagle Scout project. That's a fabulous job and a great presentation. And I also would like to thank the FedEx Cares representatives. They're a couple on that team are personal friends of mine and my family, and they did a great job. And that's all I have.
Tom?
First of all, I'd like to explain my lapse. I was so engrossed in Mr. Dice's presentation of this letter, I was still focusing mostly on that. So now that I'm back in the saddle again.
I'm glad you're with us, Tom.
Yeah, I'd like to say congrats to Mr. Harvey. I see the stress taking its toll. And after Saturday, it's going to be over. Let's see. I do want to say congratulations to Noah, the Eagle Scout. Becoming an Eagle Scout requires a lot of hard work, and it's special guys that are able to get to that point. And a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and projects like he completed here. Thanks to the Public Works, and Art, our cameraman that was here, has retired, and I would like to wish him good luck and good health in his retirement. And thank Mr. Dice for starting the ball rolling for the donations for Gateway Hockey, and I will be around to collect sometime tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. I'm sorry? Oh, Ron, go ahead. You have one more comment?
I just, there was a situation that came up today that I met with Mr. Little and Paul Hugus in his office. I just wanted to advise everybody of this. We had a little bit of an emergency situation on Cooper Road. Reports from the police were stating that there were numerous accidents at the bottom of the hill on the bend. We got pictures. Jamie Story went out to check the road and found it. When it was even slightly wet, it was like ice. There was next to no frictional value to it. I want to advise the residents that called and who traveled that road that repairs via Mr. Little are going to be beginning immediately. Also, the curve at the bottom of the hill isn't banked properly. It's banked to the outside instead of tilting you in, and that's going to be corrected also. But the part that's going to be corrected is the curve, from straightaway to straightaway. But there has been numerous accidents in the past couple of weeks. They sent me pictures, cars rolling over, and I don't know the cause of this. I just know that we're going to fix it.
Very good. I didn't hear that. All right, I just have a couple of quick things. Obviously, condolences to Pat and his entire family on the loss of your mom. Pat, I know that's real tough times. For the Halloween, it is October 31st from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., okay? It is October 31st, 6 to 8. I know there was a lot of questions on that. Our staff has been getting calls, so I wanted to publicly state that as well. And obviously, congratulations to Noah. Eagle Scout, as Tom most eloquently said, is not easy. And I only have one more item, and I'm going to address it very lightly, if you will. There was an article came out that I was not in favor of our volunteers as well as our animal control center, if you will, our animal center shelter. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Yes, I've been a proponent of asking Mr. Little and this council to consider requests for proposals to see if we can get as close to what we have at much less of a cost. Basically, we're spending almost $200,000, I'll even say $150,000 a year on our animal control. If you look at Plum Borough, which is 9 square miles larger than we are, about 10 or so thousand more residents, they spend about $4,000 a year on animal control. So I think just because we're in tight times, I think it behooves us to take a look. I'm not saying that we're going to change what we have, but I don't think it hurts this council, as well as I as mayor, to take a look to see if we can save any of that money. But I did want to get out there that animal shelter certainly supported, and for you volunteers who work with us, we couldn't do it without you. And that's just enough said on that. And with that, I'm going to request a motion to go, I'm sorry?
I just want to do about the auditor.
Yeah, on Tuesday, we will be appointing an auditor for our insurance purposes.
No, this is the.
Is this on?
Yeah, this is a proposal. Our auditor we've had for how many years, Hozak Speck, Mutual and Wood has been here. I don't know but they've been here quite a number of years. And under the Home Rule Charter, an appointment of an auditor has to be every 3 years. And they have given us a 3-year contract, 14, 15, and 16. And council can see those numbers. For 14, it's $25,750. For 15, it's $26,300. For 16, it's $26,900. Now, under the Home Rule Charter, the mayor appoints the auditor, hence the reason why I have it underneath his agenda with advice and consent of council. And I would request, this will be on the agenda for Tuesday.
You'll make the appointment.
To appoint Hozak and Speck.
Well, actually, there's going to be two then on Tuesday then. Very good. And with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to go in an executive session for personnel and litigation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and good night, ladies.